right, welcome to week 26 of Walk the Plank, the Perry Athletic Department podcast that reviews the week that was and looks forward to the events coming up for the week. We have a very wrestling-heavy podcast today, but that's because we had a great weekend of district tournaments last weekend over at Mentor for the girls and down at Kenston for the boys. So we're here to recap all of that and talk about the upcoming state tournament this weekend. Joined by always my co-host here, Gene Winters. Thanks for being here, Gene.
Yeah, another week, and it seems like more state qualifiers. It seems like it's been the theme the last 3 weeks of state qualifier after state qualifier for the winter sports.
Yeah, it's been a great run and just been an exciting time. It's always a fun time of year to see exactly, how many we're going to get down to state and different events, whether it's or different sports such as gymnastics, wrestling. Our girls basketball team made a run here, really exciting time for them as well. So we'll recap all of that today. But we're going to start off by talking to a state qualifying wrestler on the girls' side. She's a alternate for the state meet, but she had a great tournament nonetheless. Eva Kuchar, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. You get your free DQ meal, so thank you to Dairy Queen. They do a great job of supporting our Athlete of the Week program. So as soon as that season's over, I'm sure you guys can go enjoy that over at DQ. But let's just talk a little bit about last week over at Mentor, and then we'll rewind to the sectional tournament at Euclid as well. What was your mindset going into to Mentor, to the district level, from that particular standpoint, coming off qualifying the week before over at Euclid?
So the mindset for me was, I knew it was going to be tough matches, but I needed to stay calm and just not worry about what is upcoming and just let everything free.
How do you keep yourself grounded and not look ahead? Like, how do you, stay in that moment or stay into that match and not look ahead or, kind of project what might be coming?
I usually just listen to music to calm me down and get me pumped up for the matches. And I usually look at the brackets to see who I have, and then I play off of what's going on with that.
So how many matches did you end up wrestling on Sunday over at Mentor? Let's give a bit of a sort of behind-the-scenes look into, because sometimes it could just be a couple. Sometimes it just depends whether you win or lose, right? So if you win, you're only going to wrestle probably maybe a couple. But if you have to wrestle back, there's more involved. How many did you end up wrestling?
I think I wrestled 6 matches.
6 which is the maximum, I do believe, that you're allowed by OHSA rules. So you had a full day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take us through that, though. Your first match, what was the result of the first match you had on Sunday?
The first match, I won that one.
Okay.
I pinned the girl.
Okay.
It was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
And then second match, I lost, and that put me in the Conti's bracket. Mm-hmm. And then I just worked my way up from there.
Do you have less pressure, more pressure on yourself, knowing that you lost and now you have to win to get to ultimately where you wanted to be?
I put a little more pressure on myself, but not too much.
So you're an alternate this week at the state meet. How do you prepare? Do you prepare any differently than you have been? Are you still practicing the same, or everything still much the same routine for you? And then we're just sort of waiting around to see if you actually get into the state tournament.
Yeah, I just practice the same. I usually just go into the same thing, like.
And this weekend, going down to Columbus, obviously you're excited to be there, but not knowing if you're going to wrestle, does that change at all? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't diminish the excitement for being a state qualifier.
No, I'm still pretty excited about that. I just go into it the same way that I would think that if I was a placer.
Okay.
And having 2 other wrestlers going with you as well, I'm sure that is exciting as well, being a tight, small niche group as your team is.
Yeah.
And then let's backtrack to the sectionals real quick. So the News Herald said you had the biggest upset of the weekend. You pinned a returning state qualifier from Brush, I believe. So take us through that match. How exciting. Obviously, it had a great ending, had a tremendous, your goal, I'm sure, was to get a win there. But just take us through that match. Pretty exciting stuff.
So first, I listened to music like I always do, and then I made her wrestle my way. I didn't let her get the first move. I made her wrestle my way that I wanted to.
I was going to say, how difficult is it to wrestle your match, knowing that you have a former state qualifier, not get caught up into what she likes to do?
So it's just hand control, and she likes to do the headlocks and stuff, so I made sure I didn't get my head underneath her and just stay out of that.
And how long have you been wrestling now? When did you start getting involved with wrestling? And obviously enjoy doing it. You wouldn't be here sitting next to me, but how, when did you start with this sport?
I started last year.
Okay, so pretty new.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome stuff. And now you're pinning returning state qualifiers, so pretty good progression in a year's time.
And for you, obviously, we know G and Abby as well, but you also wrestle with your sister. What is that like, being she and you, being part of the Perry team together?
I love it. Like, she looks up to me a lot, so it's amazing.
Well, you've been a great role model for her, and congratulations on a great year. Best of luck. We'll wait around with you here on this Friday, and hopefully that you get in the tournament. Emily almost got in last week. She was
Yeah.
close. She was a coin flip away from getting in. So we got that call. I think, I don't know, the days all run together last week, but Thursday or so we got the call Friday maybe that, and so, hey, hopefully the same thing can happen to you, and we can get you into that state tournament. But a great year so far. Before we get you out of here, just a couple of questions for you. So maybe get to know you a little bit better than just the wrestler. You have a favorite food?
Yes, I love seafood.
Seafood. Okay. Any particular kind of seafood? Or
I like
just all?
I like salmon and crab legs.
All right. Anywhere you like to go to get your salmon or your crab legs or seafood? There's a restaurant, or are you making it at home?
My dad works at Euclid Fish, so we get it from there.
Good answer. Shout out to the Euclid Fish Company. They've got some good. I've done, I think, clam bakes and stuff with them before. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Favorite subject in school?
Science.
Science. Coach Trentinelli's in the room. That's a good answer. Favorite movie or show? Or a television series?
I don't know.
No? You're not watching a lot of TV, not a lot of time. All right, so that takes into the next question. Hobby away from wrestling. Anything, outside of the sport that you like to do?
I like fishing, hunting, and riding my four-wheeler.
Okay, awesome. Good answers. Favorite memory from Perry Athletics, and this can be grade K to 12. Anything that you've experienced, youth, all the way middle school on up till now.
Probably throwing. Last year, that was a huge thing for me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you'll be back at it here before we know it, right? So after this weekend wrestling, you're back right into the throwing section of the track season. Visit any place in the world. You can go anywhere you want. Money's not an object. Where are you heading?
Paris.
Paris, France.
Yep.
Okay. Eva, congratulations on a great year. Best of luck to you this weekend. We're hoping you get in that tournament. We'll let everybody know how it goes, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here with the podcast. Yeah, just a great. Yeah, well, you can go on that way. Sorry. A great example, again, somebody who hasn't done this a very long
Yeah.
time, and here we are. She's on the verge of being in the state tournament here this weekend.
And that has also seemed to be a theme this winter. Athletes trying new sports or being new to the sport that they're competing in and excelling and getting into this realm of the state qualifier.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to keep the girls wrestling theme going here. We'll bring up Gigi. Come on up. We'll go in order of weight class here. Gigi's our 105-pounder for our girls wrestling program. Congratulations, Gigi, on qualifying for the state tournament. First two girls in history, and Eva's our alternate. First crew of girls to qualify for the state tournament. So you've got to be excited. We won't take much of your time here. We'll have Abby and then Coach Dominish up here as well. But let's just take us through this past weekend over at Menor at the district level, and what that day was like to you and how exciting it was.
It was amazing because I didn't even it didn't seem like I was going to state. Like, it didn't seem like I had to win to go to state.
Yeah.
Because I've never, I didn't qualify. I didn't have to qualify last year for middle
Right.
school.
Sure.
So it was different. I just wrestled it like any other tournament.
Well, that's the way to do it because you go into it and, probably pretty free and relaxed. And you're a freshman. There's no huge expectations on you. But at the same time, you want to qualify, and you did. You pinned your way through the tournament. You, like Eva said, she had to wrestle 6 matches because she had lost at some point and had to wrestle back into the consolations. But when you win, you just keep going. You wrestled 4 matches. You pinned all 4 opponents. And what is your outlook here for this coming weekend, I guess, as we head to Columbus?
It's really just to see how far I get.
Yeah.
I just want to keep going, get to the highest point I can get before I lose, or I just not sure until I get to the highest point I can get. I want to see how far I can get.
It's going to be a new experience for you, right?
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
Everything, obviously, the whole high school experience is new for you, the whole season and everything. And then you get to the postseason and you have sectionals and you have district. You've never, like you said, you didn't have to qualify last year to get anywhere. You just wrestled at the middle school state meet, and here we are. So I know it'll be an exciting time, and we have Abby and we have Eva. And are you guys looking forward to the trip?
Oh, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. There's
Okay. You get hotel room, you get to stay in the hotel. You might be more excited about that than wrestling, maybe. No?
Kind of.
Okay, that's good. That's part of the experience, though, and that's the best part. We have
I'm just really thinking about having fun.
right,
like
and
that.
that's awesome. That's what we want.
So I'm
And-
targeting.
there you go. Well, and you never know what's going to happen. So I don't look at a lot of wrestling is a sport where they have rankings and all that stuff. I don't look at them a lot. I know the coaches don't. They might have an idea, but so I think you have a great mindset for it. Go out there, do your best, have fun. You're with your team, you're with your family, and you guys go compete your tails off and see where you go.
Definitely. I'll make sure all the coaches up in the room know that I'm really thankful for their help. all this
Okay,
season.
well, that's great because let's talk about that a little bit. You've got a relatively new sport, so to speak, with girls wrestling over the last 4 to 5 years, where the state has incorporated the girls wrestling tournament into the boys. So they're at the same time, right there on the same mats, everything. It's awesome. Shout out to the OHSA. Sometimes I know people want to complain about the OHSA sometimes, and me as well. There's things that just sometimes don't make sense, but they've done a great job incorporating the girls. So we have, a staff of coaches that are really dedicated to you guys. So let's talk about them a little bit. And 2 of them are your parents, but
Yes,
so but Coach Dominish and Coach Dominish, Coach Mann, and his. There's lots of people behind the scenes. So let's just talk about how they coach you and what they've meant to you this year.
They generally tell me that I just need to go out and have fun. If I'm not worried about it, then I'm just going out there to do what I want to do. I'm controlling the match a lot more. I'm a lot more aggressive. If I worry about it too much, I'm thinking about what I'm doing, and I'll think about everything. And I won't think about what's in front of me. I'll focus on one thing, and I'm not taking my time to see what they're doing, how they're reacting.
And how do you stay out of your own head? How do you, I'm sure you can feel it coming where maybe you're worrying about something too much. How do you get yourself back into a wrestling mindset or, get back into your comfort zone?
I'm not too sure because it's I kind of just calm down. I just know that I just have to go out there and be aggressive because at some point they're either going to break or they're just going to stay on me, and I have to stay on them as well.
And does this week change at all for you practice-wise? You still doing the same routine, same preparation that you've done the previous 3 months?
It's been really the same. I'm just going a bit harder at practice to make sure I keep my stamina up because if they're not doing the same thing, then they're not going to have as much. They're not going to have enough energy.
All right, Gigi, we wish you nothing but the best here this weekend. We'll update everybody. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll have Abby come up. We'll just
Thank you.
switch you guys with spots and get Abby in here. And Abby's 110 pounds. She was a district champion for us as well.
Hi.
Pinned your way through, just like Gigi, all the way through the finals, and you are a state qualifier. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When we had both Gigi and Abby on before as athletes of the week, we talked about this. We talked about your goals for the year, and this was obviously one of them. You've accomplished it. How does it feel?
Honestly, I don't know yet.
Yeah?
It's just weird because, ever since the summer, I've been thinking about this moment, going to state, and I guess I never thought it's actually what it is.
Yeah.
It's not feeling the way I thought it was gonna feel.
Okay.
I thought I would think about it differently. Like, but honestly, like I think I thought like I would think about being at state a lot more, but now I'm thinking about it of it's just another tournament that I'm gonna be wrestling and I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna go out there and do what I do normally.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
probably a great mindset to have coming in, is not putting more pressure on yourself, just treating it as another match, even though you're down in Columbus, big arena, everything that entails. Not trying to get the pressure to come on top of you, but it's a great mindset to have going in.
Yeah.
And similar to Gigi, what are your goals or expectations for this week as you head down to Columbus?
To just do my best,
Yeah.
like to just wrestle, because that's what I'm there to do. That's what I've been doing all season, and that's what I'm most like excited about. I'm excited to go down there and get some good matches and to see everyone I've been seeing this whole season, and hopefully get to see new faces.
Well, yeah, I think you're definitely going to see him from all over the state there.
Yeah.
So I know it's, and you guys have gone all over the state. You've traveled all over the state this year with some of your tournaments. So again, shout out to our coaches for, putting in that time and that energy to take you to different spots and to see different opponents where you're not just wrestling the same girl over and over and over. So let's just talk again, just like with Gigi, what your coaches, what have they meant to you this year? How have they helped you get better?
They Mrs. and Mr. Dominish have helped me a ton.
Yeah.
I have to do a big shout out to them because
Yeah.
they've helped me in so many ways, and the other coaches, they helped me a lot too,
Mhm.
like up in the room, but they've helped me up in the room, out of the room, and like in any way they could, and I just have to say thank you to them.
Yeah. Well, having them in your corner, and I've seen Coach Matt Domish in the corner for their matches and things like that. How do you you look over there a lot just for support? What are they trying to tell you during a match? Are they giving you some pointers on what to do and that type of thing?
Well, Miss Dominish, she's like my mom.
Yeah.
So, she's the comfort part of it.
Yeah.
And Matt is like, I don't know how to describe it, but he is like, he's the one that helps me get motivated for
Yeah.
my matches. He gets me to go like
Yeah.
100%, he helps pump me up.
Get you
before
run
my
through a wall,
matches.
right? Get you
Yeah,
ready.
I guess, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he helps a lot, and she helps a lot
Good.
all the time.
Well, and again, a shout out to all of our coaches. Winter is a long season. So whether it's wrestling or basketball or swim, it's a grind of a year. So all of our coaches do a great job with our kids, and I think they've done a fantastic job getting you guys there. And obviously, your efforts, you've come a long way as well. So let's just recap. How long have you been wrestling?
This is my 4th year wrestling.
4th year. So again, not something you're doing for the entire, when you were little, there was probably no rec wrestling that you could take part in. It really has come over the last 4 or 5 years. So hats off to you. And we wish you nothing but the best. We'll be
Thank you.
following you. I'll be down there. We'll be putting it out on social media. So if people want to follow along, we try to video as many of the matches as we can and get them out there for people. But congratulations
Thank you.
on achieving your goal, being a state qualifier, a district champion, and we'll see how it goes this weekend. Best
All
of luck.
right, thank you for having
All right,
me.
Abby Cornwell, and we'll have Coach Dominish come on up, and we'll continue on down the girls wrestling path here. But just repeating the same thing over and over, exciting time. And Coach Dominish, you ready to go here to Columbus for our first state qualifiers ever in Perry history? Feels pretty good to say that.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay.
And to get to this point, just take us through this season. I know when we had you on earlier, you were a couple matches in. Now you've gone through, more tournaments, the districts last week, regionals, all of the playoffs to get to this point. Has the season gone as expected? Exceeded your expectations? How has this second half of the season gone?
It's definitely exceeded my expectations. I knew that Gigi and Abby were good, but you never know how good these wrestlers are really going to be. until they get into the season and things keep progressing. And, as coaches, you look, we know who their opponents are. We're studying things, figuring things out, and it's always nice when you see them come up against somebody that you anticipate it being a tough match and they pin them in the first period and you're like, okay, well, that went better than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting. And all of the girls this year did great. So it's been a wonderful season, helping all 5 of the girls and come along. And I look forward to doing it again next year and hopefully having even more girls.
Yeah, that's the goal. It's always been the goal. It'll continue to be the goal to grow this sport and to
Yes.
grow this program of girls wrestling here at Perry and hopefully throughout the state. And I think it's going to continue to move down that path, certainly here. Let's talk about, you're officially listed as our girls wrestling coach, but let's talk about the people that help you, whether it's behind the scenes, during the matches, at practices, and let's just give sort of a behind the scenes look at to what is involved with Perry Girls Wrestling. Anybody you want to give shout outs to or thank for their time and energy?
Well, definitely Dan Trentinelli
Yeah.
and Chris Bezig. I would be completely lost without the two of them. Every day in the room, they're there answering questions, helping. Dan runs the practices, and then I'm helping the girls if they need a drill partner, practice partner. That's where I usually will step in and help out. But they're, for the most part, they're running. Dan's running the practices every day, and making sure that the girls are learning and doing what they need to do. Dave Rowan, he helps a ton as well in the room. Even though he's, retired, he will never retire. So,
yeah.
and the girls love him. He has a really good way with the girls, and they enjoy having him up in the room. Jason Thomas is a huge asset. He has a lot of nutrition background, so I'm always picking his brain on, what things can I do for the girls that do need to drop weight. As well as conditioning and strength training. Those are really his assets that he brings to the table. So he helps a lot. I'm always asking him questions about stuff like that. And then my husband comes, he usually gets there a little bit late due to his work schedule,
Yeah.
but then he comes to the room and he helps towards the end of practice. And then any of the girls who want to have extra practice, one-on-one type stuff is usually where he really comes in and steps in, and, they'll have a break, he'll let them, take like a half an hour break after practice, and then he'll just kind of go over some drills with them, keep it light. They're not running, they're not doing any more conditioning, but it's just, how do we master the half? How do we do a really good, high crotch? And, just taking the time to walk through it, because I think the girls learn things very differently. They're very analytical about how they want to approach wrestling. And so he has the ability to take the time with them to really break it down step by step and make sure that they're understanding the moves and what it is that they need to do, and hyping them up, letting them know, hey, you're doing a great job. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. And and keeping it very fun. He definitely, he'll be rolling around with one of the girls and he'll look at them and be like, what's your favorite kind of cat? And, just the girls are caught off guard, and just stuff like that to keep the mood light.
Yeah.
So it's not so intense all the time.
Well, we certainly appreciate all of the coaches' efforts in getting us to where we need to go, and now it's paying dividends because we've got 3 girls going on in the state tournament.
And not to give too much away, because this is such a popular podcast, but a little scouting report on each of your girls. So if we're coming back with state championships, we need to do this weekend to do it, to accomplish the goal.
So I think for both Gigi and Abby, it's their intensity and their aggressiveness. A lot of the girls, I would say at least half of their bracket, they've never competed against because they're from Southern Ohio. So it makes it a little bit trickier because it's somebody they've never had to wrestle before. But for both of them, when they step on the mat as long as they keep their intensity and their aggressiveness and they wrestle their way, then the sky's the limit. And I think that it doesn't matter if they're going up against a senior or they're going up against a national champion, they can do whatever they set their mind to.
And not knowing the kids from the South, are you and your team watching more film, trying to project out a bracket where we may see these 4 girls, and trying to have your scouting report ready before Friday?
Yes, absolutely. We use Flow Wrestling quite a bit, look up the girls, try to see, if we can see past matches, things that they've done, and just kind of get an idea. The girls don't like to know, and we're completely fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't want them to get in their head. I just want them to know, hey, it's another opponent. I don't care what her record is. It doesn't matter what
Yep.
she's done. It's just another girl I got to mow down. And so we kind of take in that information so that as we're preparing them, we're like, okay, these are the few things that we need to make sure we go over with them in their practice so that they, know these things, or, we need to keep up on their intensity because this wrestler is a really intense wrestler.
All right, Coach Dominish, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
First time in Perry history, we've got some girls going down the state. Congrats.
Thank you.
We'll be watching and getting it out there to everybody back here in Perry, and wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on. All right, let's transition to Coach Trenton Nelly here from our boys wrestling program. I know he's got to teach class, so I appreciate his efforts here to make it happen today. We'll have our 3 state qualifying wrestlers on as soon as Coach Trent is done. But Coach Trent, congrats.
Thank you.
District runner-up last week over at Kenston. We got three qualifiers out and a couple of alternates as well, so
Yeah.
5 heading down to Columbus. District runner-up to Buckeye. What was your takeaway from the weekend?
We were happy with second place. Of
Yeah.
course, you want to get first place, but
Yeah.
Buckeye kind of ran off with it. They
Yeah.
have some guys that were real high point scorers, but we were kind of back and forth with Canfield as a team in the finals. I believe they had about 6 guys in the finals, and they were ahead of us, and we had our 5, and we ended up going 4-1 in the finals. Or actually, we had 6.
Yeah.
We went 5-1 in the finals, and I think they went 2-4, which notched it. And in the finals, we had a couple pins as well, which were bonus points. And I think we ended up beating them by only a few points, which was nice to get that title, or not title, but that runner-up.
You get a trophy,
Yeah,
right? We
sure.
can put it in the trophy case.
Yeah.
Now, for you, going back to this past weekend, it seemed like reading and trying to keep up with everything. Friday was successful, maybe not where you wanted on Saturday, but to close out strong on Sunday.
Saturday
Just
Saturday
take us through
night.
that little roller coaster of a.
When we went to sectionals, I thought we went to the right sectional. We had a lot of success there, which gave us some good seeds. When you have a good seed, you're probably going to see someone who's maybe not up to your level at that first day or so. And our first day was really good. Second day, that's when it gets nitty gritty, and I think we went 2-10 for a round or two, and we were kind of looking down and trying to figure out what was going on, and we had discussion as a team, and we all kind of agreed we were a little tight, and we got loose. And I think we've had a lot of success this year, just kind of wrestling loose and letting it fly, and we changed our mindset. And the following round, we did very well, and we ended up getting 6 guys into the finals. The rest is history there.
Now, how do you stay loose for this week? Obviously, there's more pressure going into Columbus, going into the Schottenstein Center, all that
Sure.
pressure. How do you keep them loose?
It's a whole different experience. A lot of these guys have been down there as a wrestler or as a fan. We always try to, Coach Bezig and I always think it's an important thing as you get down there on that first day for weigh-ins, and you're waiting around, and we always like to ask for a little permission to take the guys through the bullpen and walk out the tunnel and then look at the lights when you walk out on that floor. Someone who's never done that before, their eyes are real big, and that can make you nervous. So we kind of show it to them beforehand, and I imagine some of these guys, their goals are to win it. Some of them, their goal is to play. Some of them, their goal is just to get there. And depending on where your goals are, wrestle loose and get a good warm up and do what we've been doing, and and learn from that kind of mistake or not going to say mistake, but that lesson we learned where we were a little bit tight and we could talk about it, and we have a lot of time to do that between now and then.
And then as far as, let's just we got 5 guys going down, 2 alternates, 3 qualifiers. Let's start with our alternates, Chris Bezig, Chuck Thomas, and just talk about each one, like a little nugget on each one.
Yeah.
And their strengths. And obviously the alternates will be waiting around anxiously, hoping to get in. But
Yeah, so you got 2 seniors who had goals of competing there. Christopher made it last year.
yeah,
This year he had a real tough weight class and a hard draw.
yeah,
So we didn't get out, and those are life lessons. I mean, you don't always get what you want, and we always tell our student athletes that wrestling it's like life. Sometimes things don't work out, and you have to work through it. And it's a little bit harder when you're a senior. It stings a little bit more. Same with Chucky. I mean, I thought Chucky wrestled real well, and that match in the finals at take 5th. I mean, he wrestled his heart off, and he earned every single bit of that match. And to come off of your senior year wrestling like that,
Yeah.
You should have some pride in that if you don't get in. And how he's improved since I've been coaching him since he was in 3rd grade. Oh my gosh, he is a beast now. And those guys are great team leaders. And the nice thing is, they're seniors and they go, but we're the type of program those guys always want to come back and help out, and you're going to see them. And it's sort of like they're part of the family.
Yeah.
They just might move out, but they're going to
Yeah.
visit, right?
right, for sure. And we have 3 underclassmen. Our 3 underclassmen are our qualifiers: Landon Rusnak, Chance Schlau, Trent Taylor.
Yeah,
Talk about those guys a little bit.
So,
We're going to have them on here shortly.
Sure,
so.
Landon and Trent, this is their first ride down there.
Yep.
Trent had a stacked weight class, and he wrestled very well. Beat some guys that he lost to, and we hit some good moves, and we got there. It was awesome. And then he ended up hitting his guy in the final. Trent was in the zone.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Landon too. I mean, Landon came out there first time down there as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Worked really hard on getting his weight where it needed to be, and went down there, and he had a tough loss in the semis, and we were a little upset about that. Excuse me. But he came back in the Conci semis, decked the kid, came back, and had a nice match in the finals. So, it's nice to see him down there, and you got 2 more years with him, and you got
Right.
another year with Trent.
Yeah.
Same with Chance Schlau. Chance Schlau, second time down there. He was 3rd place, right?
Yep.
Everything's going through my head. 3rd place. He was the second best guy there. It's
Yeah.
just the way the draw went. And I know he has some real high goals for the state tournament, which I'm excited to see him accomplish.
And not to look past this weekend, but you kind of mentioned it. You're only losing a handful of seniors, so next year you're, stacking up pretty nice to make another run.
We do lose 5 seniors, but we had depth this year, and we got guys sliding in, and we'll take a good part in that. And we were kind of planning out our off season with freestyle as well as our off season during the summer, and we got a good thing coming ahead of us. Kids should be excited, and the goal is to get better, and goal is continue to love the sport, and every year comes around and set your goals and go at it.
All right, Coach Trentinelli, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good
Thank
luck
you.
this weekend. We'll be down there
Thank
ready
you.
to support. Sorry, I'm always in the way. All right, Coach Trentinelli, head wrestling coach here at Perry High School, does a fantastic job, and we wish the Pirates well here this weekend.
Yeah, getting 3 down, potentially 5. It's going to be another, again, exciting weekend
Yeah.
coming up for winter sports here at Perry. Each week we talked about it. Another state qualifier, another
Yep.
match or event or sport that you're going down to cover. It's another exciting time.
Yeah, it is for sure.
And I think the best part of that, and you can see and kind of hear it as well, just how much each kid means to Coach
Yeah.
Trent. I mean,
For
yes,
sure.
it's only his first year, but
Right.
being with the program for a number
He's
of
known
years.
these guys
yes.
forever. He's coached them, like you said, Chuck Thomas since 3rd grade. A lot of these guys since 3rd grade. It makes a difference. It's
Yes.
a huge help. So let's call Landon up here. Landon Rusnak is our Male Athlete of the Week. In addition to being one of our state qualifiers, Trent and Chance have already been an Athlete of the Week. So, Landon, there you go. I'm sure you can enjoy that after the tournament here. I can hold that offer if you want, but after this weekend, I know everybody likes to kick back and celebrate with a little bit of food and the wrestling. That's probably been, you've not been able to partake in some of your favorite things for the last 3 or 4 months. But let's just start off. Congratulations on being a state qualifier. Awesome stuff as a sophomore. Take us through your weekend at districts. Coach Trentinelli mentioned that tough semifinal loss to Cleo from West Geauga, but still came back and wrestled your butt off to take third overall.
I mean, the second day in the semis, I wasn't like prepared mentally, and going into the Conti semis, I had to change my attitude. So I thought of the stuff that I could only control. I couldn't control the outcome.
Yeah.
So I just thought about how I could wrestle better, and be more loose, and just let it fly.
And for you, as you're going through that, and you're having the emotion of a tough loss on Saturday, how do you regroup and get yourself ready for Sunday, knowing I now have to continue to win to get to the ultimate goal that I wanted to get to states?
Well, I mean, I just thought about like last year, I didn't qualify, and the feeling that I had, and I don't want to feel that again. So I knew I had to do something about it.
Is there anything you wanted to work on from the sectional week down at West Branch to districts last week? Did you think, all right, here's what I need to do. If I'm going to qualify, I need to work on this move, or I need to perfect this? Or is it more mental? Is it just, hey, like you said, sort of changing your mindset and getting ready to go from a mental standpoint?
One thing I knew I needed to work on was keeping my offense going. I tend to sit back in the third period if I'm up by a lot. And also the mental. Wrestling is probably 75% mental, and that was a big thing for me.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you started the season at 126, and now we're obviously qualified at 120?
Yeah.
What went into dropping weight, getting into the 120 instead of the 126?
I mean, I knew 120 was going to be a better weight class for me, and in the beginning of the year, I had like a medical condition where I had to use like swallowable steroids, and it made like weight gain really bad, so I had to wrestle 26, and now I've switched off of that, and it's just been weight cut and management easier.
That's awesome. And now, so obviously you're qualifying as an individual. They'll still compile team points this weekend down in Columbus for the state championships, but state duels was also something that we got to participate in earlier in the year. Not every school does. You have to earn that. It's based on your district qualifying numbers from the year before. So not every team in the state gets to do it. We hosted a regional event here and then qualified for the state. How was that experience for you as a wrestler?
I mean, it's always fun. Team duels, it's a big thing for us. We always have fun there, and we wanted to get down there and wrestle state duels. We wanted to win it, but
and we're closer. I know we finished 5th, but closer than that. Actually, if you say 5th, like Steubenville beats us the first round, and they take Buckeye down to the wire. So I mean, if we were able to somehow manage Steubenville, it's right there. I don't think we're that far away. And you guys will all be back next year. We had 11 district qualifiers. We're certainly going to qualify for the state duels next year. So it's just a little bit different than the big tournaments, whether it's sectionals or districts or Pin City. The dual wrestling aspect is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like against Steubenville, we were a little scared. We didn't come out as hot. And, we had a talk after, and they just said, use this experience to just get better. And I feel like we wrestled very well after that.
I agree.
And Coach kind of touched on it a little bit, not to get ahead to next year, but there's a lot of underclassmen on this roster. Do you guys use that as motivation to kind of boost yourself up? You want to be the best 120, or you want to be the best sophomore in the class. Do you use that little friendly competition within?
Yeah, I mean, our room's very competitive, but we all support each other. Iron sharpens iron, and we all go at it every single day.
That's awesome. And how long have you been wrestling? When did you start? Did you start at the Mighty Mike program or more of a middle school?
I think I started in 2nd grade.
2nd grade. and then you wrestled all the way through middle school, and then you're a freshman here at Perry High School. You're on the mat. You're a starter for us. What's the difference between that freshman year, like you said, you did not qualify last year, to this year becoming a state qualifier? What was the biggest growth for you?
I definitely had a lot more confidence on the
Okay.
mat. Last year, I would sit back and, wait for something to happen. This year, I've been a lot more aggressive, and I think that's just a big difference.
Now, have you been down to states as a fan down into Columbus? So is this going to be a new experience for you? Obviously, wrestling is going to be the new part, but being in that atmosphere?
Yeah, last year, I went down to watch. I got to walk out as like a media, so
Sorry, you were taking pictures for us last
yeah,
year,
it was
right?
Riley's.
Cameraman.
Yeah, but
All right, so now from cameraman to state qualifier, Landon, congratulations on a great year. We'll be updating everybody this weekend as you get down there and start taking part in the OHSA state tournament. Again, only a sophomore, so you got a couple more years after this. But let's get to know you a little bit better. Just a couple of off-the-wall questions here. Do you have a favorite food?
definitely chicken wings.
Chicken wing. Any particular location for your chicken wings?
I like to go to Mr. Lee's.
Mr. Lee's is a good shout out to Mr. Lee's. I love Mr. Lee's. Favorite subject in school?
Science.
Science. That's pretty common throughout.
I mean, Coach left, so if you want to
Yeah,
change
right.
your
You
answer.
can change the answer. It doesn't have to be astronomy or whatever. Favorite movie or show?
Definitely Interstellar.
Okay. Good one. Well, there you go. Astronomy. Hobby. Do you have any hobbies away from wrestling or any sport you participate in?
Outside of wrestling, I like to run.
Okay.
You know.
Cross country I for us too. Favorite memory from Perry Athletics?
Oh,
All the way up, K to 12. It can be most recently, or it can be something that you remember from middle school or even younger.
I don't know. There's a lot.
Well, that's
have to
good. There's a
think.
lot to pick from, but
Yeah.
state qualifying's got to be up there. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's a major goal of yours, I'm sure. So, visit any place in the world. Go anywhere you want. Money's not an object. Where are you heading?
I'd like to go to Norway.
Norway. All right, unique. Have not had that answer. All right, Landon Rusnak, congratulations on a great year. Best of luck this weekend. Go get them. We wish you nothing but the best.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Landon. Let's call Trent up here. He's got an internship program to get to. We're holding these guys back today. We had a room full of wrestlers waiting around for us. We appreciate their patience, and congratulations, Trent, on
Thank you.
on achieving your goal. He's been in this seat before as an athlete of the week, and now you're going to be wrestling at the state tournament here this coming weekend, starting on Friday. Talk about last weekend. Just take us through that district. That, like Coach Trentinelli said, you had a lot of tough kids in your weight class.
Right. It was definitely an emotional roller coaster. I mean, losing that semi-final match, 12-7, had the kid on his back. But like you said earlier, it doesn't always go your way.
Right.
So just coming into that Conti semis match, knowing I had to get the job done, and 1 minute first periods in the Conti, so I knew I had to be fast, score some points, and I ended up pinning them in the first. So that was very just to share that emotion with my family was very fun. Wrestling's my third sport, so
Yeah.
qualifying for state was the cherry on top. That was my goal from the beginning, and also winning a state championship for wrestling as a team. Couldn't get that done. I knew I had to accomplish some goals and got that.
Now, when you lost on Saturday, was that early on? Did you have to continue to wrestle Saturday, or did you lose and have to come back Sunday?
Yeah, so that was my semi-final match.
So then they wrestled Saturday night
Okay.
instead of Sunday. So you coming off that tough loss, and like you said, you knew what you had to do.
Yeah.
And you came back stronger than ever.
Yep.
But take us through that. How long of a gap was that between your loss to where you got to wrestle again? What emotions are you going through? What's going through your mind trying to get yourself back into that right spot of getting to this point to qualify?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I was trying to get nothing in my mind. I was just trying to forget about it and just go out fresh. I knew I had to push the pace. And at heavyweight, it's hard to do, especially giving up a lot of weight. So I just had to jump on them early. I did that well. So, I mean, I think that's going to be it for this weekend, too, is just going in with a clear mind.
Mm-hmm.
Any match is winnable, and any match is losable as well. So you just got to wrestle your style.
And what are you on average giving up per match? Obviously, it'll depend. I'm sure there's the 285 is the weight class. You're not 285
No, I'd say probably 40 to 45 pounds
every match. So how do you make up for that difference? Athleticism, quickness.
I like to
agility,
say,
that-
but
yeah.
if you ask some of my teammates,
Chances is
They-
saying no.
they
and
like to
Landon's
say I'm
laughing.
not very athletic, but it definitely
I don't
shows
know,
in some
man.
matches.
I would say you've got to use it to your advantage somehow if you're
Right.
going to be giving up that kind of weight. So
Yeah.
I know they're giving you a hard time, but I've seen you on the mat. I've seen you on the football field. You've got several Division I scholarship offers to play football at the next level. So
Yep.
there's a little bit of athleticism in there somewhere.
So same thing we asked, have you been down to states before as a fan, or is this going to be your first time inside the Schottenstein Center?
I have not, but I think the thing with Perry is we're used to competing at a big stage, so I think just going down there and, like I said earlier, clear head, and I think we're prepared for it.
And what does it mean going with two other guys, or actually four other guys with the alternates as well? What does that mean to you to be with that group, to go down there and represent the school?
I think that shows how our team is. We're all competitors, and they did the same thing. They had to wrestle that Concy semis match, and they had to go in with that same mindset, and I think it shows we're ready to grind no matter what.
All right, Trent. Best of luck. I know you got to get to your class.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck this weekend. Appreciate it. And we will update everybody on all of our wrestlers. Let's call our last one up, our last state qualifier, Chance Schlau. Welcome back, Chance. He was here just a short time
last
ago,
week, right?
last week. So we talked about your goals. You accomplished your goals. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk the same thing. Let's just rehash that district tournament for you over at Kenston. Tough loss. Was it 4-1, 3-1?
It was 4-1.
4-1. But you were right there. I mean, it was 1-1.
It was-
and you were right there.
Mhm.
It was so nip and tuck. And then how do you rebound from that? Similar to Trent, we have 3 third-place finishers. So as Trent just said, you guys all had to sort of wrestle back and qualify.
Yeah. So after that match, I had me and my dad stepped aside and made a little meeting. You know, that it wasn't my last match of the season, so I
Right.
knew the next match I had to get it done. So I went out there and I pinned the kid. And I knew I was going on the state.
You
Then.
knew you were going to state, and then you had to wrestle for 3rd and 4th place, right?
Mhm.
And that seeding's important, and people may not know how seeding works in wrestling. Coach Trent Nelly talked about it earlier. We went to the sectional furthest away from us, but it gave us the best chance to have the most number of qualifiers to the next tournament at the districts. Gave us 11, but it also sets you up for seeding. So when you are a 1 seed, you're wrestling the 4 seed. If you're the 2 seed, you're wrestling the 3, and so on. So that 3rd and 4th place match is huge too, because you don't want to have to go open up your state tournament experience with maybe a 1 seed and one of maybe the top kids in the state.
Mhm.
So that was a big match for you to come back as well. So you won the next 2 matches. What are you looking for this weekend? What are you looking most forward to for this weekend?
Honestly, just being down there with everyone. I think the group going's a real good group. I mean, we all like to have fun with each other, and then getting through that first match. The first match is going to be big of how I set the tournament. So
Yeah. So you'll have so all of our guys will wrestle a 2 seed, and again, it's important because those essentially are 50-50 matches. You never, it's a 2 versus a 3, can go either way. You see it all the time down there where a 3 beats a 2 and vice versa. But all right, so any particular goal that you have, or you're just going to go down there and lay it all in line and see where you end up?
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I want to go down there and lay it on the line. I don't want to leave everything on the mat by the end of it. But I definitely want to get on the podium. That's been my goal from the beginning.
Okay.
Is there a little advantage for you this year, experience this, not coming in fresh, having this experience, being able to maybe reflect back onto something that might have been new to you last year? Any of that play in?
Definitely the nerves. Last year, for the first time, definitely walking out was definitely a little nerve-wracking, but I still wrestled good last year.
Yeah.
I think this year it's just I know what's down there, I know who's down there, and so it's just getting through it.
And can you use that to help Landon, Trent, guys that haven't experienced this before, try to ease them a little bit? Obviously, everyone's different. And,
Yeah.
until you go through it, you don't know. But can you use some of that to try to help them stay calm?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll have some talks of just go out there and wrestle you. You don't even need to look up at everybody. Just focus on one match.
All right, Chance, we wish you best of luck here this weekend. Congratulations on
Thank you.
accomplishing your goal and qualifying for the state, 2nd year in a row. And we'll see how things go. We'll update everybody here as we go, and best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for taking the time to be here. Chan Schlau, our third and final state qualifier here at Perry. We're looking forward to a great tournament.
Yeah, and it's going to be, again, another amazing weekend coming up, especially down in Columbus. Starting on Friday, it's going to be another exciting day, another exciting weekend for Perry sports, and we'll see. Maybe the two alternates get in, and maybe there's a couple more guys or girls down there wrestling this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things that, again, you never know until you experience that, that district tournament exactly, what those draws look like. And sometimes it is just luck of the draw or bad luck of the draw where, like Coach Trent said with Christopher Bezig, yeah, that 144 weight class is stacked, and he had sort of a tough draw and did his best, came up just a little bit short, but yeah, it's an exciting time, and the winter sports truly is our longest season of the year, and it's easy to see that based on the calendar, right?
Yes.
It starts in November. Here we are in mid-March, and we're still talking about winter sports. But it's also, this time of year is one of my favorite times of year because so much is going on and in all of the sports, and it's sort of all very climactic right at the end, just to see exactly how far we can get.
And before we leave the wrestling, just one last thing for the alternates. When do they find out? How does that get determined? I know you mentioned earlier with the coin flip, but when will they know if they can wrestle or not?
Yeah, really the day of. So the kids will weigh in on Friday morning. Wrestling starts in Columbus at 1 p.m. at the Schottenstein Center. So weigh-ins, I believe, are between 9 and 10 a.m. that morning. Everybody's got to be there, including the alternates. And then if somebody doesn't make weight or doesn't pass a skin check, then the alternate becomes viable. And then if it's all based on your region or your district, if the kid who finished fourth in Chuck or Chris's weight class doesn't qualify or doesn't pass skin check or doesn't make weight, then they would be in. So it has happened before. I mean, the chances aren't huge. It's not I'm sure those kids who have qualified are going to do everything they can to make their weight and make sure that they're good to go, but it does happen. So those guys have to be, mentally prepared, and I know they've been practicing all week and so on. So, yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed. We had, like I said earlier, Emily Kuchar was on the cusp of getting into the district tournament that she had just missed out on. So we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, and we'll go from there.
And come Friday at 1, now do you start at whatever the lowest weight class and all the divisions wrestle at that point, or is it a mix? How does the day play?
They start with Division 3.
Okay.
And then 2-1 girls. So it's all intermixed eventually because then they just keep rolling.
Sure.
There's 10 mats, and even though they start with all Division 3 matches, by the time you get to the Division 2, you'll start to see some D1 matches. So you'll have the heavyweights for D2 out, and the 106s for D1s will be out. It's a cool event, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so if you can get down there at the Schottenstein Center starting on Friday, get out there and support the student athletes here that have made it. On the other side of that, we had some state gymnastics last weekend.
It was awesome.
And
that was
again,
fun
it
too.
was another great showing for Perry Pirate.
Yeah, Macy Freeman, really performed well. She ended up 4th on the beam and 5th in the all-around, and just missed out on the vault and the floor in terms of being on the podium. Podium at state gymnastics is top 6. So just had it for, a freshman. We're talking about a freshman. Just a fantastic opening, first time ever at state type of experience, and couldn't be prouder of Macy and what she's accomplished. And shout out to her and her family and the coaches there. Coach Jessica Arps. They do a great job, and it was a lot of fun. The energy, it was over at Hilliard High School. It was packed in there, and the energy was high and loud, just like we talked about with them last week, and she performed.
And 3 girls will return, coming back for next season's run, and we'll see if there's any 8th graders, new freshmen that will join the crop.
We'll hope so.
On the basketball side for the girls,
Yep.
they made it to the Sweet 16, regional semifinal. Unfortunately, their season comes to an end versus a very tough Laurel team.
Yeah, Laurel, did Laurel beat CVCA?
They did.
All right, I figured they would. And yeah, Laurel is one of the top teams in the state and obviously is now in the Final Four
Yep.
and has a chance to win it from the team that I saw play us. And our Pirates played very hard. We were in the game for sure in the first half, and it got away from us a little bit. We still made a run. We never gave up. We cut it back down to almost 10 or 11 in the fourth quarter, which is all you can ask for against a team like Laurel. But again, hats off to Coach Infalvi and his staff and our girls and our families. I don't know. I don't think we asked him this at the last podcast, but I don't know if a district championship was a goal of the teams or not. But I think if you would have asked everybody at the beginning of the year, they would have said a district championship would be an amazing accomplishment for this
Sure.
group. And that's not taking anything away from them, but they really turned it up the last 2 to 3 weeks over the postseason, even after a couple of losses to Rootstown. But now Rootstown's in the Final Four.
Right.
And to a Normandy team. And, we were thinking, oh, maybe we're not playing our best. We were getting ready to play our best basketball of the year, and we won those 3 postseason games and won a district championship. And he was named, Coach Infalvi was
Yes.
named Northeast District Coach of the Year. And well-deserved, obviously. And so did Coach Brian Scheider. So I was talking to Mr. Kellogg earlier today. I've not had that in quite some time where, the conference coach of the year thing happens
Right.
every year, every other year, whatever. It's fairly common. To have 2 district coaches of the year, I don't know that I've ever had that. And so Brian Scheider, also extremely well-deserved with all he puts into our swim program. He's coaching other teams, and he's just a swim junkie and does great things for the sport. And hats off to both of those guys.
Yeah, so they finished the season 18-8, but as you mentioned, with Coach, winning Coach of the Year,
Yeah.
they also had first team in Victoria Lynch.
Yeah.
A couple of honorable mentions, which seemed like basically the entire roster as the
Yeah.
list kept on going. But
Yeah.
they're in a pretty good shape, only losing 4 seniors
Yeah.
to get back and continue to build upon the success that they had this year.
Yeah, we're excited about what we've got coming back next year, and thanks to our seniors in all of our sports, boys basketball as well, swim, wrestling. We're going to lose 5. It's one of those things that this is also a bittersweet time because, we're moving on from
Right.
those kids who have been part of our programs for so long, whether in travel or middle school or high school. And some are just maybe only a year or 2 in, but they bring so much to the table, and they're certainly going to be missed, and we wish all of them the best.
And last week we put the bow on boys basketball, but they also had their Northeast District players announced with Malone being a first team, Vince being second team, and
Yeah.
a couple of honorable mentions.
Yeah, again, great. Obviously not the way the boys wanted to end their season with a home sectional loss, but Woodridge was a very good team, and we knew it was going to be a tight game. But those 2 seniors specifically, Darian and Vince, obviously had the stats to earn those, and they're going to be missed next year. And we're also excited about that crew coming up. We've got. We don't have a ton of juniors, but we have a strong sophomore class, and the juniors will be seniors. They're going to have to bring some leadership to the table, and I know they will.
And then, obviously, those are the winter sports, but spring sports are starting their practicing. I know softball and baseball have been outside, track, everything that is into the winter. Now you're looking at the sun coming out and getting
it's about
outside.
time. It's about time. And yeah, our teams are trying to get outside at any moment that they can. I think anything, if it starts with a 4 from a temperature standpoint, they're going to try to be outside. We don't want to be out there in the 30s a whole lot. But, anything 40s or higher, we're going to try to be outside if it's not raining. We've got the turf that we can use, and they're going to be as creative as possible because both the baseball and softball team and track are going to be, heading south to compete. And, the other thing we talked about on the way over here is our indoor track people. Maybe we'll have them on here next week. We've got, 7 or 8 indoor track kids advancing to the state indoor meet, and it's a nice program to offer because in it just leads you right into the spring season and the outdoor season. So best of luck to those athletes. They're competing over at Spire again on Friday. So shout out to Coach Richards. I know he'll do good things with our track team this coming spring as well. And then tennis is underway. Coach Walker and the guys are trying to get outdoors as much as we can. We're trying to get the nets up. I think they got up yesterday because it was a little bit warm. Frank was able to get out there. So
Then the last thing, I think we've kind of briefly grazed by it once or twice on the podcast, but the Athletic Boosters raffle is coming up. It's about 10 days away.
it is, and we're at. This is typically how it works. The last 2 weeks are the sprint to the event. No one buys these tickets in January when we first offer them. It's always the last 2 weeks. But we do need, if you are even thinking about coming, please consider buying a ticket. They're $60. It's a fun night. You get dinner, there's drinks, you've got baskets that are going to be raffled off, there's a silent auction, there's all kinds of stuff. It's a fun night, and it all goes back to our Perry athletes. All goes back through the Booster Club to our Perry athletes. So it's at the Perry Community Center, Saturday, March 15th, starts at 6 p.m. We'd love for you to join us. We do have about 50-ish tickets left to sell. So not exactly where we want to be, but we've been here before. And they usually end up selling, so hopefully that's the case.
So yeah, get out there. You have 10 more days to get there, and,
Yes.
and a great event coming up in a week from
A week from Saturday, and it's the first Saturday that we always do it on this Saturday because it's the first Saturday that we don't have anything athletically event-wise. Wrestling will be done. That's just the way it goes. So it's the first opportunity where we know we won't have a conflict. From a high school, there's AAU basketball, there's JO volleyball, there's track, there's soccer, there's indoor, all these things that are still going on, but not necessarily school related. So hoping people can join us on Saturday the 15th at the Perry Community Center.
Yeah, a lot jam-packed into this week 26 of Walk the Plank. So
Yes.
Obviously, there was a lot of wrestling up towards the front and deserving of that for
Yep.
these state qualifiers. And I'm excited to see the videos and the tweets and everything coming out this weekend to try to stay up with what they're accomplishing.
We'll keep everybody updated as best we can, and we'll obviously rehash everything from the state tournament next week on week 27, and we'll get into some spring sports, maybe wrap up, like I said, that indoor track championships from the state level. And so until then, thank you for joining us. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Join us back for week 27. Until then, go Pirates.